Dan, do you feel a bit like a time traveller going back and forth between Brisbane and Northern Districts?
It hasn't been too bad so far because I've only done it once, but I suppose it can be the toughest thing about playing cricket is just all the travel that is involved, so that's the thing they've got to manage the best and make sure it works for both teams.
What do you actually have to do? Like, how quickly do you have to leave after a match here to get over there and vice versa?
Well, last time it was the next morning, and I suppose it just depends what venue you're at because the Mount obviously doesn't have international flights, so you have to get up to Auckland, but if you're in a place like Wellington or Auckland or Christchurch, it is a lot easier, so it's venue dependent really.
So do you feel a little bit tired when you're playing like midnight New Zealand time in Australia?
I don't notice it. I think because when you play cricket, especially 2020 games, the adrenaline's going and you're involved in the moment, particularly when you had a game like we did the other night for Brisbane where it was so intense. So I don't think you notice it. I think it'll probably catch up the couple of days later.
Alan Border called that game the other night against Hobart one of the best 2020s he'd ever seen. It had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever you play on a great wicket, it allows great games to unfold, and that wicket was outstanding, particularly for batting, and I suppose that's what people really want to see in 2020 games. So it's always a challenge for the bowlers, but it's also exciting to try and, I suppose, prevent those big runs, and we managed to do it by the skin of our teeth.
Have you ever gone for 38 off 3 before? Because I can't remember it.
Possibly. I think I ran into Yusuf Pathan one day at the IPL, so it's just the nature of 2020s that when you get on that good wicket, sometimes you can go.
Sorry to bring that up.
No, that's all right. It happens.
How loud was that crowd? Because it looked like they were really behind, especially at the end.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky with Brisbane that they've had some good crowds there and they have a parochial following. And maybe it's because they're one of the smaller cities, but compared to Melbourne or Sydney, that they've just got one team to root for, and they've made the most of it so far. It's been unfortunate that we haven't won too many games, but if we get support like that, then I'm sure there'll be a few more coming.
Matty Hayden, I think, called you a bookworm turned Grizzly Adams. Do you get that a lot?
No, I think when people don't know you, it's probably a perception. It's how a pair of glasses can propel you into something that maybe you are or maybe you aren't, and same with the beard. So I think it probably sounds good on TV, but not quite true.
They're just going for the cliches.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to do.
Do you ever envy Australians their conditions though, and the tracks that they grow up on and learn to play cricket on?
I think definitely the tracks that they grow up on, and probably their ability to train more outdoors than we do. I think that's one of the real assets that Australian cricket has, and something that they utilise really well, and probably leads to them being such good cricketers because they're allowed to play on wickets that they trust from a young age.
Yeah, you probably develop into a different kind of cricketer almost, depending on what side
you're a lot more confident within your game. I think sometimes the wickets that you grow up in New Zealand are incredibly tough on club decks, so it does make it difficult at times.
So what made you want to play for the Brisbane Heat? Was it the previous connections with Queensland, or? Yeah,
a little bit, knowing those sorts of, most of the guys there, and basically Darren Lehman gave me an offer I couldn't refuse, and it wasn't just a monetary thing, it was the way that he wanted to play the game and the way that he wanted to create a team environment, and when I heard him talk I wanted to jump at it straight away. So it was him mainly that was the draw card there, and then when I found out Brendan was pretty close to signing as well, that was the icing on the cake.
Speaking of Australia, a lot of people have commented that it almost didn't seem fair that you weren't involved in the Hobart win. I guess at the time you were as excited as anybody, but was there like a tinge of regret afterwards? No,
I think you're just so involved in the moment, and I still am now. I think in some ways it's a blessing in disguise, the fact that we're allowed to play 4 seamers on that wicket, and it really suited, because the wicket was one of the greenest I've seen. So I remember on the morning of the game, Righty basically said to me, "Can you bat?" He wasn't really worried about my bowling, so I just wanted to make sure that I could bat, but unfortunately I couldn't. But I feel like I was part of the setup and part of the win, so it's not something that's going to eat away at me at all.
Yeah, and it was a great opportunity for Trent. I was so proud of the way he played.
Yeah, I mean, all those 4 seamers allowed that victory, because it was incredibly tough to bat on, but you still had to work reasonably hard for your wickets, and those guys were unrelenting, and particularly on that final day where their spells got quite long, to be able to support Doug and how well he bowled was amazing for a New Zealand team.
Do you ever stop and think, holy cow, I've got 4,000 test runs?
Yeah, I suppose so. I think the runs is the thing that that I never really envisaged growing up. I hoped I could be a bowler that could get a lot of wickets, but to score that many runs, and hopefully a lot more to come is something that I'm really proud of.
What about looking back and thinking, gee whiz, I was playing Test cricket at 18 years old, how did I do that?
No, not so much. I think it's such a long time ago now that I don't think about it too much.
It is a long time ago.
Yeah, it's coming up 15 years, so it's it sneaks up on you. So it's more about what I'm doing now and the future and how long I can play for and how long I can sustain being a good player, hopefully.
How long do you think you can?
I mean, I think family plays a big part in that, and being away from home so much is difficult, and we don't find it all that easy travelling with 2 young kids. So I'd like to play Test cricket for a few more years yet, and trying to balance up everything else that's going on, because there is a lot of domestic competitions going on that pay a lot of money, and then there's also the lure of the World Cup in New Zealand in 2015, so it's not easy to balance it all up.
Did you know the other day that when you broke Scott Styris's 2020 wickets record, were you aware of that?
No.
Domestic, you got the domestic record for most wickets in 2020.
Oh really? No, I had no idea, honestly.
We've kept it in the family.
Yeah.
What's he like as captain? Feel free to spill as many beans as you like.
No, I think I probably came into it thinking that Scotty would be, I'm not sure, a little bit grumpier than he is, but I think he's done a really good job. He keeps a nice balance. He's open. He's making balls this week. He's open for ideas, and he understands the emotions of the game. I think he has a bit of empathy for the bowlers as well, because it's a tough game for bowlers.
Yeah.
Being one himself, I think he's really impressed me so far, and I haven't had to want to walk up to him and punch him yet, so it's been good.
It's probably been a tough campaign too for you.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been easy, particularly with the rainouts, getting a good start and then being on and off, and then playing poorly in the 2 rainout games. I think has been tough, but what can you do as a captain when you lose a 5-over game, an 11-over game? There's one thing that makes you lose the game. It's not really in the captain's control. You can just ask for better, and I think that's what Scotty's asked of us so far.
Hopefully the weather will be better for the Test series. What are you looking forward to there?
Against Zimbabwe?
And South Africa too.
I mean, Zimbabwe is always, you play on Napier wicket, so it's going to be tough work. It's going to be a lot of work for the bowlers, and hopefully the batsmen are going to make a lot of runs. So I think you always know what you're going to get when you turn up there. The South African series is probably going to be the pinnacle for a lot of us, and give us a real barometer of see where we've come as a Test playing side, because they're a fantastic team and probably as balanced a side as you could hope from world cricket, because of the Imran Tahir factor coming into their side and giving them a real wicket-taking spinner.
Should be good fun.
Yeah, it'll be really good.
Thanks for talking to us, Dan.
No worries, thank you.
Thank you.